Welcome, everyone, to Behind the Facade. Today's topic is the buying, development, and selling process of 18823 La Amistad Place. Now, when we talk about this, we're going to be discussing it with these two lovely individuals, Dar and Vita. They were the buyers, the developers, the visionaries, the designers, everything from start to finish. So we're going to start off, and we're going to go with introducing yourselves. Let's start off with Dar.
I'm Dar Martin. I am a realtor and a CPA. I actually love this business because I can bring a lot of different facets of my background to it. I'm very methodical in my approach. I'm very logical. Things need to make sense. Vida is more of a visionary and a risk taker, and I think she has incredible taste. So I let her lead with whatever she wants to do, because I think she has a much better vision than I do at times. I'm learning as we go along, but I'm more of a numbers guy, more of a logical guy. I do a lot of work on the marketing side and the legal side of things. But Vida makes a lot of the decisions on the design and how things should look like.
Where were you that you got into real estate?
Well, a few years ago, when Vida came to California from Canada, I didn't want to do the work I was doing before. Mm-hmm. I was looking for a different challenge. And somehow I always had this knowledge about the real estate market. I knew everything about Orange County, where the developers were, where the developments were, what cities were nice, and so forth. So I was teaching Vida where everything was. And one day she just said, why don't you just come and do this? You know a lot. And I didn't really believe her at the time. But as time has gone by, I have noticed I do have a lot of knowledge about the real estate market. And Southern California Southern California in particular, because I went to school in San Diego. I lived there for a number of years. I lived in LA for 5-6 years, and I've lived in Orange County for many, many years. So I'm very familiar with this entire market, why people move from one location to the other, what are the benefits, what are the advantages, disadvantages of every market. And that entire knowledge basically gets transferred to our clients. Mm. And they take the benefit from that.
So you went from being a tour guide to Vida to transitioning and segueing into real estate. All right. Well, Vida, welcome.
Thank you.
If you could introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. My name is Vida, as you said already.
Yeah.
And to correct you, is your background was, I know you didn't like your job, but you was a CFO and CEO of a lot of kind of tech companies, right?
Yes.
That's why I got married with you, because you're so smart. But my background is I'm a real estate agent for 15 years. And before that, I had no idea that I love real estate that much. Mm-hmm. I would do accounting. I go to accounting school, and then I finished accounting, and I was working for the corporation. And so far, then after few years, then I decided to go to real estate.
What did you love about it?
I love to do my transaction with my client, hold their hand, and I'm a very protective real estate agent to my client. I make sure everything is good. That's why then I decided, after I came to California, and after a while we start to think about building the house. I think because he saw I have a passion for it.
I mean, I was there throughout the process of La Amistad and another project, Paseo Nuevo, which was like 8-9 houses down. While I was there, I clearly saw both of you there majority of the time throughout the entire demo and build. And I literally saw how you would come in with finishes and kind of pick out, would this come here, would this fit here, what kind of windows, accordion doors and whatnot. So I definitely saw that side of you of being I'd like to say it as an artiste.
The quality is very important
of course
when you build
course.
the house, for sure.
Yeah, the quality presentation, I can actually let you in on a little game we play when we go to anybody's house, friends, clients. After we come out, we said, why did they do that window like that? They should have done this to this window. Or we are always remodeling every home that we go in. Particularly if they're dark, we say, what can we do to make it more functional, make it more bright? And it's sort of second nature now. Even when we walk last night, we were walking in our neighborhood and we keep saying, this house has a lot of small windows. Why did they build it like this?
Because you're so passionate about it. It's so hard for you to get out of it. So, for example, if you're out for dinner, the conversation just naturally comes in about real estate.
Especially because we are a real estate agent. People start asking about market all the time.
Even when you try to turn it off, it's always on.
I think it's something we like.
Yeah.
So it's never viewed as we are working. I think there's a Chinese saying that says, you can feed somebody once, or you can teach them something they can do. And they will do that all the time for the rest of the time. There's another saying, I actually like that better. They said, find something you love to do and you never work another day in your life.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't feel like I'm going to work. I don't feel any day fast since I started doing real estate. It's like I'm going to see my friend. I'm excited about it. I don't care. I'm in the middle of the vacation. I just love the call. I just love the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, it's just, I know it might be sounds crazy, but I love it. I just love it.
That's good.
And we don't look at any, to this date, we haven't looked at any transaction as just, let's do a transaction. I'm actually closing a house. We are closing a house in Woodland Hills for a young attorney. And when we would go to see the homes in his budget, I would say, we are not buying this house. And he would say, but I like the house. It's like, no, this is not a good house for this reason, for this reason, for this reason.
That's amazing. That's guidance behind it all. So it's not like, hey, it's transactional for you. It's a relationship and you're looking after your client.
Yes. And then I have to explain to them. It's like, don't look at it like this. The last 3 minutes we've been in this house, I hear 3 huge motorcycles going by.
Yes.
This is not going to stop when you sleep at night. I don't want you to call me and say, why did you buy me this house?
So let's kind of segue into this transaction that we're talking about. What made this property stand out the most at that moment when I showed that property to you, or even digitally show it to you, as opposed to coming to see it in person?
For me, it was a corner lot. It was a flat lot. You could do a lot with that house. And we learned some mistake we did in the building, since we was building the house. But one of the reasons, it has a lot of lights, something that we ask for the clients once, and even I always pay attention to those things.
By lights, you mean natural light?
Natural lights, natural lights, the flat lot. The good area is actually a family area. It's quiet, wide street, and it's an basically old area.
Yeah, I think it has potential to be that popular, just because you're right by, it's in Tarzana, but it's by the Braemar Country Club. And with the Braemar Country Club is a very sought after part of Tarzana.
Luxury.
It's very luxurious. Majority of the construction started in the 60s and whatnot, but if we look at the data, I know you're a numbers guy. When you look at the data, a lot of developers and a lot of end users are buying these homes and tearing down or doing exactly what you guys are doing. So when you look at the data at that part, taking the economic factor out of it, but the demand in the area shows a lot of insight. And then you look at Alfred's Coffee is coming up, Trader Joe's just opened up, Nordstrom Rack opened up not too long ago. So when you see commercial coming in, that also shows promise to the neighborhood. That's for my part. But what about you?
I echo something that Vidar said. What makes a neighborhood prime? Usability of land. We see a lot of homes that they say it's 25,000 square foot lot. And when you go in, there's 6,000 square foot of flat land. The rest of it sits on a hill. That to me is more of a liability. You have to spend all this money and energy trying to maintain the house. Caissons, how do you support it? Landslides, mudslides, and so forth. This was a flat land. It was right on a corner. It had abundance amount of light. And when I walked the house, nobody had a view inside that backyard. So that gave it that
you
incredible
see the sky.
Yes, you see the sky and you see the hills. Nobody had a view to the house. The other thing I did when we went inside, because the house itself wasn't anything to look at, right? So I came and I stood outside for like 20 minutes and I just stood there and listened. Peace and quiet in a neighborhood, it's priceless. And it was very quiet. The neighbors were quiet. The street was quiet. You could hear the birds chirping. My birds chirping thing, you hear that in every house we go to. It's like, oh, you can hear the birds. That matters to me. Actually, wild animals, birds, do not come to places that there is danger and there is too much noise. So that gave me a sense of peace. And I had no doubt that Vidar can make something with that house.
First things first, it doesn't look anything like it, like you mentioned. And second, when you open it, there's this breath of fresh air and an awe factor because of the high ceilings you guys created, the seamless indoor-outdoor living in the home. Like you can literally have guests and family come in and they can go from the living room, kitchen into the backyard.
It's a family home.
It's a family home.
Yeah.
It can be anything really. It could be a family home. It could be an entertainment home. It could be anything you want. It's a canvas for the end user at the end of the day, and you built that home for what it was.
I knew we were going to do a lot to it, but by the time we were done, it surpassed.
It's 90% brand new house.
Yeah, it was 90% brand new. It surpassed every expectation I had as far as the look and feel of the house was, but it became a lot more expensive than we initially planned. Even with my background, I always like to put a lot of cushions in what the contractor says. So if the contractor says it's going to cost X, I say it's going to cost X plus 50%. So my X plus 50% needed another 50%.
Let's talk about the uncertainty that come across that moment when you're like, I'm buying this house, but these are the uncertain factors.
That's actually not a positive thing for us to say. I did not see that level of uncertainty initially when we went in. Okay, I did a lot of planning, and you don't know what you don't know, and every house is different. They're like snowflakes. They look the same, but every one of them is different. And we relied on estimates we received from other people that were the experts in what they did. But I think the miscommunication on our part was there was a disconnect between the quotes we received and the vision Vidar had.
It's isn't it interesting and it's funny how the name of our show is Behind the Facade. When you look at something, you think it's a remodel, but there is a lot more into it. Yeah,
that's why you did the magic when you want to sell the house. The video you build, you make, it was off because when people comes and say, "Oh, you did a remodel," and then we say, "No. Basically, it was a rebuild. We did this. We did the plumbing. We did the roof. We did this. We changed the wall. We had an architect, and we have all these things." And then as soon as they see it, they hear it, but they couldn't envision what we say. And then when you put it on the TV, and they would just say, oh, this is what you did? Oh, it's a lot of work.
Actually, just in terms of background, what Cash did from the very beginning when we started, and I'm saying this for everybody else to see what we are talking about. When we started the development, we start videotaping everything that happened in the house, from the tear down to the reframing, to rewiring, to repiping, to the sewer line. And we did that so we could use certain parts of that in our marketing, and we could see what has happened. But when you put a finished product in front of a customer, and I thought that was, I mean, what you did was genius. And then subsequent to that, we saw other developers start videotaping that. But when people came in and we said, initially, actually, we said, this is a remodel. Then we changed our tune ourselves because we realized that the right word for that, the right terminology was rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put the finished product in front of somebody, whatever they ask you, they think that just subconsciously they might think that you're puffing it.
Yeah, of
okay,
course.
that you're overselling it. So when we came and said we did a rebuild, and then eventually it became that people would say, well, what's the difference? And we would say, well, let me show you.
Yes, exactly.
Because seeing is believing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can stand in front of somebody and pitch how you build the house all day long, but they don't believe you until they actually look at it. And they saw, so in the videos, and I hope we put some of that in the podcast, you could see that the color of the
wood,
the lumber is different. The framing was different. And we took an 8-foot ceiling and we made it almost 12 feet. 14. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was, we had a lot of challenges in that. I mean, even when we put that together,
because you guys had to put the steel beam on it.
We actually had to put 3 or 4 of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just to be able to support the structure. And I remember when the city inspector would come in, and I was there for a lot of inspection, the guy kept looking at it and said, these are nice materials you're using. I said, yeah, we are. But the fact that that video was there, that people could see it, made an enormous difference. There were other homes in the area. I mean, Tarzana is changing. There are a lot of homes that are coming to the market, and I think it's going to be the next up and coming great neighborhood and great city in LA. And we would go and see other remodels. As people came to see our remodel, I wanted to see what other people were doing. And some people were changing the facade. And in reality, when you are in a home, a home, a car, an airplane, anything, when it ages, it breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And what breaks down in a home? The piping breaks down, the electrical stuff that are behind the walls.
Even the roof. So when you actually have documentation in terms of video that show people how this house was built, made an enormous difference. And I love that idea. I thought that was genius of you. Thank you.
And I think the buyer even asked for the videos.
Yeah, you did. I mean, majority of interested parties, when they were potential buyers, they would say, hey, can you send over that before and after? Contractors, night and day, every single time. They'd walk in, look at it, that's genius, can I have it? I'm like, no. Because that's my, that was my, touch to it. And they want to, I mean, it's a great compliment, don't get me wrong. But at that particular moment, since we were in the moment of, in the process of building, I didn't want a competitor to hurry up and do exactly what we did. Do I want to share it now? Absolutely. I'd love to inspire. I mean, that's why we post it every time, right? So absolutely.
Another thing you did that was really good is you put together the list of all the upgrades that we put inside that house and any material we used. And I'm glad we did it from the beginning because it became so extensive, okay, that when a potential buyer will say, well, what have you done? I actually had to sit down and look at the list because the list was this long.
List. Yeah.
Okay, and I keep saying, send me the list so I can tell them what material was used in the house. I think it was parts of it were incredible. I think the entire process, looking at it on the hindsight, was a lot more challenging that we thought. And it's like anything in life. When you start on a project and you don't know exactly what's going to happen, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges. We learned a lot. We learned it was like going to university and getting another master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest thing that I learned in that process, that I actually do have a knack
Mm-hmm.
for how things should look like or push the envelope. What I learned about Vita is just trust what she says, okay? And you know, and I know how incredibly picky she was.
Yes.
At times, and how much she pushed. And now I wish she pushed more.
Yes.
And when we did the second home, she took over completely.
Yes. She took full control.
She took full control. And that is the way we should have done from day one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually the first time, I think, for decades, for real estate. It was uncertainty.
The way,
And no one knows. And everybody say, we don't know, we never seen such a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the economy actually is very good, but the real estate, because when the economy bad, the real estate go down. But this time the economy was okay.
It was strong.
It's actually very
the
strong.
economy
It
was very
still
strong.
is strong.
Yeah.
But still today, the real estate, I think one of the most reason is the high interest rate.
Yes.
And people get used to a very low interest rate. And that's why it brings the buyer to hesitate. They are waiting for something which is not going to go down, but this is the time they can negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
LA's market a lot more challenging than Orange County is right
yeah.
now.
Still, Orange County, people is still market stay more in the market, yes, but it's better than LA.
Yes.
But at the time, actually was
The other way
the
around.
other way
It was the
around.
other-
Yes.
I can actually add to that. So we bought the house in summer of 23,
Mm-hmm.
and I said it right off the bat. I'm very analytical. I have to sit down and dissect everything. So at the time, the Federal Reserve was saying, we are going to cut the interest rates 5 times in the next year. 5 times.
Yeah.
And the interest rate was sitting around 7%. Then we look at the price per square foot we were going to buy the home, and we look at the high-end homes that we envisioned we were going to build, and we built much better than that.
We did.
We're selling for a much higher price per square foot than we bought it. And we said the delta between what we are buying and what we are selling is enormous. So it allows us to build what we want to build. And the Federal Reserve is going to cut the interest rates 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
That means the interest rates were going to go in the low 5s. Well, a lot of stuff happened in the process. First of all, the interest rates didn't go down.
You went up.
I think they cut them 1 time or 2 times.
2 times, I think.
And as soon as they cut the interest rate, now here's where the analytical part comes in. Okay, so the interest rates for the homes, for the mortgages, is tied to the 10-year Treasury. 10-year Treasury follows, in general, what the Federal Reserve does when they cut the rates. But there is an unemployment factor too in that process. So unemployment has to increase, and the Federal Reserve needs to lower the rates. So then the 10-year Treasury follows, and that pushes the mortgage rates down. Well, everything that could possibly go wrong in that scenario from the initial assumption went wrong. First of all, Fed didn't cut the interest rate 5 times. Okay, it took 3 months after we finished the house and we brought it in the market. They cut the interest rate once. And then the following months, when the employment report came out, it was the highest number of employment in the last 6 years.
Yes.
So the mortgage rates actually went higher rather than come later. So that impacted everything. The interest rate stayed higher. And then when the administration changed, the Trump administration kept talking about raising tariffs. And that is an inflationary thing. So the interest rates, mortgage rates keep going higher and higher. And Chairman Powell, all credit be given to him. He's an economist. He doesn't think about real estate. He thinks about a much bigger economy. He said, we have this risk of inflation. We are not going to cut the interest rates. So we ended up building a home that cost a lot more to build.
Yeah, okay. Material costs.
The material costs went
labor,
higher. Everything went higher.
Yeah.
the interest rates keep going higher and higher. Okay. The number of homes available in the market, in LA market,
Increased.
went up by 60%. And it was like a fiasco. Anything that could go wrong economically went down. And the hardest homes to sell are homes that are priced between $3 to $4 million. Or $3 to $5 million.
Even 2 to 5.
In any market,
Yeah,
good
2
market
to
or
5
bad
million.
market, because the starter home is the starter home.
Yes.
You have to do whatever you can to get a starter home. The homes that are greater than $5 or $6 million, people have a lot of wealth.
Yes.
Okay, so to acquire those homes. People that buy between 2 and 5 million are professionals.
And what's insane, to some people it may sound insane, is that 2 to 5 million in the state of California is considered middle class.
Oh, it is.
To some people, when you hear 2 to 5
Or
million,
at least in the LA market.
well, at least in the LA market, right?
Okay.
But like if you hear someone from another state, outside state, hearing 2 to 5 million
it's
to
a
be
luxury.
they're like,
expensive
are
home.
you absolutely insane?
Yeah. So if somebody wants to buy a $3 or $4 million home,
Yes.
let's say they want to get a $2 to $3 million mortgage. Between the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and they're all in a high fire zone, they can spend as high as $30,000 to $35,000 a month to live in that home. So if you want to spend $30,000 a month, that means your mortgage payment with the taxes and everything is close to $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now imagine how much money you have to make after taxes that you can pay $400,000 for your house. And when I say about professionals, I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, accountants, all these people that make a boatload of money. The guy can make $500,000 a year, and that's not enough. They can make $700,000 a year. The guy cannot afford a $3.5 million home. Now, you cut the interest rates by 3%, it changes everything.
Oh my goodness.
So we made a number of assumptions, not out of the thin air.
No,
we made the assumption based on the fact that was on the ground.
Absolutely.
And what the Federal Reserve was saying. But things worked a different way. The magic worked unmagically.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back into it and discuss the next topic here.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.